It's time to let it flow. It's time to let it flow. Yeah, it's time to let it flow. Yeah, it's time to let it flow. It's time to let it flow. What's poppin'? Welcome to the next episode of Let It Flow. I got a special guest, MiLove. How you doing today?
I am good. Thank you. Nice to meet you, Phlo.
Definitely nice to meet you. So before we get into it, to tell them a little bit about yourself, like what you do.
Yes, I am a mindset and business coach. What I do is help entrepreneurs or people with hobbies basically take their businesses to the profit zone. I started a Bulletproof entrepreneur campaign where you can sign up for my school. Find me on Instagram or Facebook. We also help you get the funding that you need with any of the business or hobbies so that you can, profit and get in the profit zone instead of sometimes, entrepreneurs don't have the money.
You help people turn their hobbies into money.
Yeah.
I think one reason why I think that's a good business model is because the only way you're going to really stay like consistent with something is to be something you love. And a lot of people get into careers or jobs or whatever the case may be that they don't love. They're just doing it and they don't like the job. They're like, they wake up and I got to go to work today. They live their whole life. I feel like that has a lot to do with your happiness. Like if you spend most of your day doing something you don't like, I don't know how happy you're going to be. I don't know if you have the capability of being 100% happy.
Yeah, I think that society has taught us to be in this worry, struggling world. So most people are just surviving and, actually is used to complaining. But the thing is, when you have a job, everything is set up for you. So sometimes it's scary because when you have a hobby or even an idea, you got to get moving like this. You got to get moving before you get the money. So success is a worthy idea that, that you can take something out of your head and make it something. So this room, didn't nobody pay you to do this room. You had to do all of this, or, your girlfriend or your significant other, however it is, y'all had to put this first and then the money will follow. And a lot of people don't, we like, man, I got bills, man, I got car notes, houses, this and that. And we just live in a society where it's tight and it's in this crunch and you worrying all the time. So
yeah, I agree. I think that when it comes to success, like that's a lot of little steps. When people hear like there's a bunch of little steps that create a big step, I don't think they really understand what that means. If you break it down, it means that bills are tight. A lot of people have trouble with paying the bills, but they don't have a lot of extra money, but they have an ambition. They have a hobby that they want to invest in that they can eventually turn into a stream of income. Yeah. So they need to just take small steps. Like go out there and buy the first thing you need. If you want to be a YouTuber, go get you a little camera, upgrade your phone, like make that one step. Then later on, do your thing. Maybe you're going to edit your phone. Now you're going to get a computer. Yeah. Like it takes one little step at a time.
And make a post or something. Like how you saying you want to be something and you haven't like even created an account. Right. So you might find out you don't like it. Yeah. So what happens? And that was me as a little girl. Like I have tried so many things and I kind of push my kids to, you have to go out there. A person that don't try anything to me is a failure than a person that tried it and don't like it. Like sometimes people get laughed at and be like, man, what are you doing now? What are you doing now? I'm finding what I like. Or I like that, but I don't really, that ain't my passion. I don't want to make money off of it. I just wanted to see if I could do it, and that type of stuff. So
right. I think a lot of people don't realize that to get a win, to win in life, it's going to take a whole lot of things you failed on.
Yeah.
You tried it didn't work out. You're like, it didn't work out. I got to do something else. But if you never did it, you wouldn't have learned those things. And those little things that you learn from that may apply to what you really are supposed to be doing.
Yeah. And you got to see if you like it. What if I'm like, I want to play basketball and I get out there and I'm like, to be honest, everything is tapping into the God energy. So do I got enough God energy in me to complete this? I ain't really feeling basketball like that. I just wanted to see if I could shoot it in a hoop. Like, no, I don't want to get in no ice baths. No, I don't want my toes thumped up. No, I don't want to get pushed across the floor. But you know what? I remember the day I just shot a basketball and said, yeah, nah, this ain't for me.
Right. You had to try it.
Yeah.
I feel like you always got to try everything one time. I mean, not everything, but like, don't be scared to not try things.
I just told her, I said, I think if I didn't ever see the crack epidemic okay.
Right.
Because I try everything once as long as it's not harmful to my body. So I know that that's something that's harmful. But I mean, how do you know?
Right.
God is making, it's living through us, you know what I'm saying? Having an experience. So,
Right. I think that some things you can learn from other people. So
Yeah.
if they're smoking crack and they're wigging out and shit and they're cracked, and then it's like, okay, they cracked out. Okay, you can learn from that.
They lost their kids.
But if you, yeah, exactly. If you see somebody doing it, it's working for them. Why don't talk about it? Everybody wants to talk about it. They're like, oh, I'm gonna do it one day, or oh, this is what I want to do. They had this grand plan and no action.
Yeah, you know what I tell most people? I say that's a complete insanity. Like, you can love and like whoever, but if you don't have, like, to me, I think you have to find someone that's doing what you want, that's in a position so that you can stand next to. Like, you can't go. I wouldn't ask my grandmother, and I don't, no disrespect, I really, really love my grandmother. I take care of her, whatever, but I wouldn't ask my grandmother how to make $1 million. She don't know. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes people go to people that never have done that and asking that question, and they saying, you can't do that, or, like, no, you got to find that person that's doing what you want to do and winning at it. And that's the person that you have to model. You can love and like the other people and whatever they're good at, then take the advice from. But,
no, I agree. A lot of people get advice from people who don't know anything about what they're doing. A lot of people have a circle of people who don't have as much ambition. If you have a circle like that, don't look for your partners for advice or for your friends for advice, because they don't know. They're going to tell you can't do it. They're going to have all the reasons you can't do it. If you're looking for advice, always seek someone who knows more than you. You should value that advice the most. If they don't know more than you, or they're not able to they're not successful in the field you're trying to get into, and then you can hear the advice, but don't take it to heart. You should only take it to heart if it's coming from somebody who actually knows what they're talking about and they're not just hating.
Yeah. Because, I really think most of the time is, when somebody give you advice and the hating is coming, is in their mind, they feel like they're trying to protect you, and they're trying to protect you from that failure thing. But truthfully, they haven't even tried anything. So it becomes discouraging. So you like, well, they said this wasn't going to work. And then you like, well, what have they ever done? And, so they only giving you the advice from their perspective. It's not going to work. They don't even believe it's going to work.
You actually made a good point. You're saying that what we consider haters, which, there's a differentiation, but sometimes someone's not really hating. They're trying to protect you from the best of their knowledge. They might be telling you, don't do it, ain't going to work, because they know the homeboy didn't work. So what they're doing is they're putting on you their fear of failure.
Projection.
Yeah, they're projecting their fear of failure on you.
Yeah.
But you can't fear failure, because all the greatest failed many times. Yeah. So if they feared failure, they would never become the greatest. So the only way you can become great at anything in life is to put everything into it and never fear failure, because failure is just a step in the process.
Yeah, failure way up has been my whole motto. I tell people all the time, like, those lines in those reflectors in the street, I just follow them. I take one step, and like how we talked about earlier, and then I'll figure out the next step and the next step. And sometimes it frustrates people because sometimes they want like this complete blueprint. Now, once I do something and master it, then I got the blueprint. But sometimes I might try stuff. I just literally tried to open up a trucking company, and I just took steps until it's completely open and running, which my sister is doing it, but I didn't know anything about it. Like, hopefully she'll become the complete expert where she can help people. And then, with my coaching, then she could take that side of the Bulletproof entrepreneur for people that is interested in starting a trucking company. But for me, it was just like, I know everything is like a kindergartner. So you always go to kindergarten in everything you do. Anything is always going to start fearful. I don't know. I was the top over here and now I'm at the bottom. Or what I say, one day I said I'm going to write a book that's called The 1.5. So, because I come from a shady background. We had hustlers and drug dealers and all type of stuff in our family. People that ran bootlegs, that type of stuff. So that I come from a hustling family. They didn't know how to make it an entrepreneur stuff, but I seen hustle from the age of 4. So I know I even tried, like when I was younger, 16 or 17, hey, how you do that? I wanted to buy some Air Force Ones. They like, you need a 1.5. I'm like, and then what? They like,
what does that mean, 1.5?
It was something you could buy for $50, and it was a piece of hard, and it was a 1.5, and then they like, you flip it up, and then you get 3 grams. And then after the 3 grams, you go to the half ounce and then the whole ounce or whatever. Of course, I was an unsuccessful drug dealer. So, but I will say, like, I've even tried that. That's what I'm saying. I'll try everything once but doing it, like, to be a drug lord, if you ain't in the cartels or whatever, you're going to start right there.
For sure.
So everything is the 1.5 or the kindergarten stages. And then you find your way up. You might get robbed. You might get cheated. You might have some bad stuff. Like, you playing with, it's still all investments. And I think sometimes, even when I tell street people, like, y'all are entrepreneurs too. You know, it's just that you have a low self-worth, that you don't see yourself. You think that it's a whole bunch of other stuff together, but it really is nothing but to get started. You can start a hot dog truck, a taco truck, whatever you got passion in, you can, and it's all the same thing.
I agree. I think that a lot of people don't realize, like, in the streets, how good of entrepreneurs they are. That was a great example. Like, I came from selling drugs too. And everything I learned from selling drugs about business, about entrepreneurship, I didn't realize how much knowledge I had. I think that you said self-love. I think that's a big thing, but I also think it's a vision. They don't have a big enough vision. They don't visualize seeing themselves beyond a drug dealer. Their goal is to go from the pound to 2 pounds to 10 pounds to 20 pounds moving a week. That's their vision. Yeah. They have a big vision. It's just that big vision is only gonna end in a couple ways.
Yeah, you gotta think it's the risk greater than the reward. I always tell people, like, I don't have a, and they be like, oh, you talking to drug dealers or you talking to this and that? I'm like, really? Everybody about the same. You like, do you want to grow where you want to go in life? And to me is, do you want to stay there? Like, the risk is actually greater than the reward.
Right.
So that's why I would say shift out of something like that. Like, so you have a low self-concept of, if you think that this is what you deserve, and knowing that the risk you can get taken from your kids, you can get, your life, you can get tricked out of your life. Right. And then you're like, like it, or is it a means to an end? If it's a means to an end, like, shoot, I got to do this so I can buy this camera.
Yeah.
Okay, we got the camera.
Yeah, but you're addicted to the money. I feel like that's one of the biggest messages from this podcast is to take what you know and do something bigger. If you're doing illegal shit, like, I'm not judging you. Do your thing. But just know when you got, like, people don't know when to exit. Yeah. They don't know when to stop. They just keep going and going. And you I think deep down inside, but they ignore it. Like, I need it. I got to pay the bills.
Well, also, I think is, again, you got to go back to kindergarten. So you telling me to stop check cashing, stop, using credit card schemes, all that kind of stuff. And I've found the cure to this. Like, I'm doing it at an easy route, and I'm getting like tens of thousands of dollars.
Right.
To go buy a camera, and I got to build up. You telling me to go back to kindergarten.
Yeah.
So they mind don't understand. So the one thing, what I feel like I'm so thankful of is the ability to shift, because the mind knows this realistically, I'm going to keep seeing my account go some way. And then it's somebody that's going to go to the FTC and say, hey, this got to stop. You're going to get, coming after. And now you looking at credit card scam. So if you were doing it, you already got to know, like, man, I got to figure out either to be growing it at the same time or where to put this at, because I know that this is coming to an end.
Right.
It's a scam. Like, just think about yourself. How long you gonna let somebody rob you?
Right. Eventually it's gonna get fixed.
Yeah.
And then you might be doing something that's more risky, after that. My advice to anybody who is getting into that type of stuff, just don't get too deep, because it's like you get addicted. Like, anything that brings you fast money that's illegal or something that you shouldn't be doing, deep down inside you shouldn't be doing. Mm-hmm. You don't want to spend too much time doing that, because you get so deep into that hole. You get surrounded by all these people, and it's like you got to get in and get out.
Well, is it like the expectation, or like the what they think of me type of thing? Like, I think that's what sometimes drug dealers go through. Like, I always buy the sections, I always pop the bottle, so but again, I feel like you have a low self-concept about yourself if you not comfortable in your skin. Like, to me, I don't go out a lot, but when I go out, I go out.
Right.
And I love all the bells and whistles. I feel real VIP-ish and all that stuff.
Turn
But
it up.
listen, it's not going to, this going to be like once or twice a year. Who got thousands of
Racks.
dollars to be standing in somebody's section and all that
Every
other stuff where
weekend.
I can be buying XRP or, different stuff, opening up a Charles Schwab account and all that other type of stuff. Like, you got to just get wiser with your money. That doesn't even make sense, especially if you already experienced it. Like, you got to be happy in your skin. Like, no, I'm good. I know I can do that. Like, sometimes when I did get the money, the thing in my head is I can buy the Louis, but I don't need it.
Yeah.
Just knowing that I can. So if I go out to Vegas or I go out to Paris, I can do it. But truthfully, I don't need it.
Right.
And I'm okay with it.
Yeah. So yeah, I was watching some of your reels on your page, and I saw you put a reel up about the education system and not really teaching us enough about finances. What do you think about that? What's your thoughts on that?
So I come from a mother. She had me when she was 17 years old, and my dad was 11 years older than her. And she come from a 2-parent home, but my grandparents and them were coming out of, from segregation, and 50 years before that, Civil War, and before that, whatever, slavery, all that other stuff. So I believe that at least 2 generations before me, once they got their freedom, they wanted to buy it back and they didn't want to owe anything. So when credit started being a big thing in the 70s and 80s and so on, the Black people shied away from it. They wanted to pay for everything. Like, this is mine, when, to be in all actuality, nothing really belongs to us. We all having an experience. Like, this is going to be somebody else's house if the fucking nature don't take it, right. It's going to be somebody else's car,
Sorry for the moment.
All that stuff. So yeah, we all having an experience and stuff. And then, like, even when you're ready to do something else, then you like, okay, I got to let this go. Whether I give it to my kid, whether I sell it, like, now I want to possess this and have an experience with it. So I think that from our grandparents didn't teach us because they were like, buying. My grandmother still to this day, like, if I do something for her, she say, how much do I owe you? So she still want to be debt free. So they don't teach us about good debt or bad debt. And when they were doing the debt stuff, it was like check cash in places and different stuff like that. Like, not understanding, like, no, you can take this. If you get yourself in some debt, make sure it's debt to make more money.
Right. Yeah.
So that's kind of what I just feel about the education system. Like, it wasn't taught. I had to learn this all over. I be trying to tell my kids, y'all got a me. I didn't have this. I had to figure this out. And, even when I just told you about the company and stuff, well, I was getting, before inflation, I was getting $10,000 a month. Wow. $10,000 a month is pretty good. And it was split 3 so we were actually, all of us was getting $10,000 a month. So we taking $30,000 just for our profit. And
that's good.
And then one day we look at our census, everything changed, COVID hit, just some stuff going on. We ain't paying attention to the company. And we get a check for $600. And what I realized, and I would tell one of my partners, is we need to take out some credit lines. But I kind of understood it, but I was still learning it. Like, I had good credit and stuff, but I didn't understand the business credit side. I had already stepped into helping other people fix their credit and getting their credit fixed. And again, and even in this moment, I was teaching people, well, you can go buy a car. Well, you can go get a Capital One $500 credit card. Well, you can get American Express. But I didn't have a contingency of, like, how do you make money off of this? Or, how do you open up a high yield savings account? How do you open up a Charles Schwab account? Maybe invest in Bitcoin at the time when it was cheaper. Right now, like I said, it's the XRP and stuff. Like, do a Coinbase or Robinhood, like, and let's start going back and forth about how much we should spend in that. Or every time we get paid, why don't we buy into that instead of keeping our money in the banks, because they ain't doing nothing but trading our money too. Right. And we don't even understand that. Like, we look at this bank as this big institute, but sure, come on over here, because all we doing is taking the numbers and doing stuff with it all day long.
That's what they're doing with the money. They don't teach you anything about, as far as your money. They're not going to teach you about what is a good investment, what's a bad investment. It's completely irrelevant to the education system. That's why I want to bring it up. So I saw them. I agree. They don't prepare us for the world. They prepare us for the world to become a really, really, really good employee, a compliant employee. That's why they always have to give us all the referrals, and whenever you do something wrong, you're in trouble, because that's how it is in the workforce.
And it's actually teaching you in kindergarten. You get your lunch break,
right?
Your 30-minute lunch break,
schedule,
your 8 hours,
someone else's schedule. Yeah. You have to be on time.
You get your write-ups.
When the bell rings, you got to go where you're supposed to go.
Yeah, and so if you late, you get a write-up.
Exactly. So all this is preparation to be an employee. This is not a coincidence. The system was created to be this way.
Yeah.
The education system was created by corporations, by bankers who wanted to create a whole country full of people who are good workers. And they did a great job. But now that we see, this is a long time ago. We're talking about 100 years ago. Now we got to look at it and be like, we got to know that when you go to school and you turn 18, and especially as parents, we have to know that our kids are not going to learn what they need to know to be successful. They're going to know how to go to college and work a job, or just not go to college and work a job, whichever. But they're not going to teach you life skills and things like that. So us as parents, our responsibility is to teach our kids the things that they're not learning from a young age. Don't wait till they're 18 or 25 or wait till they mess up. Like, oh, you should do it like this.
I think my 14-year-old, she understands. Like I have a 20-year-old, and he's learning. Like, I put him on all my stuff when he was about 14 or 15. So I guess it's time for me to do her. But, so he walked out at 18 with a 795 credit score. Yeah. And I had already purchased like 2 cars, and he'll probably not like me when I say this on this camera, but he had wrecked 2 or 3 cars, and I'm like, listen, I can't help you anymore. But what you can do is you got good credit, and we stay in Houston. You need a reliable car. We don't know anybody here. We need some AAA, and you need a car. Yeah. Go get you a car that's now on you. He was able to walk in there and, come out with the year of whatever the current year was at the time. So again, in that moment, he's still going into the consumer, but it's because it's the consumer mindset, but it's also because he didn't know what he wanted to do entrepreneur wise or working. He kind of like figuring it out. And me as the mom is not trying to emasculate him or, what I do realize for men and women, we are here to help multiply sometimes. Even when we saying what's right, it's like, I don't want to listen to you. So I'm letting him go through that until he come back and be like, okay, what do you think the plan is? Yeah. It's like we try to teach people things that they're not prepared to hear. And they can't, they have to experience it. There's something about experiencing it that you learn the lesson from. Yeah. Some lessons. Yeah. Or watching someone very close to you experience it, But it's got to be someone your age range. They don't want to hear older people trying to tell them what to do because kids feel like they know. They feel like it's a new age. It's different now, Mom. But it's really not. No. It's really not. And I be telling him, he says sometimes like, I appreciate you. And, I try not to, I'd be like, okay, we had this conversation and now we here. This is what I was trying to tell you, but what's your thoughts about it? So he's getting it. But for me, like, I'm not the hard, stern mom. It's just, hey, I'm here to guide you. I'm real easy. It's either this way or that way. And when it go that way, well, you pick your, which way you want it to go. Do you want to talk about it? We're going to talk about, what's your plans in 3 months? Like, I'm a 3-month checkup type of person. Like, hey, how's everything going? I heard you say you want to cut hair, but I ain't seen you cut a head. So are we still cutting hair or now we doing HVAC? Like, because again, I understand too, you got to try stuff to figure out what you want to do. You do. So, I give grace, but he did walk out with a 795 credit score, and then he actually totaled that car. So now we in this area where he's down to like, 580, and I'm helping him rebuild. But now this time, you got to think it was given to me. It was like spoon fed. I don't know what that is, but now I'm watching to see that I can't just go to Navy Federal, or if I do, they asking ridiculous interest rates and all that other stuff. And now it's different now. Yeah, and now I still want me a new car because I know what a new car feel like. So he's going through that, and I'm just like, okay, but still, I'm here. We're gonna help build, but now you're going to build yourself because you're going to see what I was trying to do. So
Right.
I just think being sometimes, we all consumers, we all like nice stuff. I don't think we should tell people not to have nice stuff, not to, indulge, like I was talking about the Louis bag and stuff, but also, are you making any of that investments? I was even telling my sister, like, listen, this XRP stuff, just when you get paid, maybe just put $20 over there. You know what I'm saying? And just, $20 a week or bi-weekly, however you get paid, and you will be probably as you save up that as whatever, that's 52 weeks in a year, 50, or is it 56 weeks?
52.
It's 52? Mm-hmm. Okay, so 52 times 20, however much that is. And then if it, double or whatever it does, right now it's at what, $2, $2.42. So if it go up to $5 or $10, you fuck around and be a millionaire.
Right. There's a lot of people who made millions off of it. I agree. Like, you have to enjoy your life, but you don't want to. You have to have a certain amount of money that you invest in yourself. You can't just always spend all your money. We talked about that earlier about just making them small steps into the right direction. So, from your perspective, like, what is 3 things that people need to know to become financially independent?
Mindset. It's the mind. So all the stuff we talking about don't mean anything if you don't mentally prepare yourself and understand that it's not on you, it's in you. So if I don't even know how much we charge for this podcast or any stuff, but it's never like what a person is charging. It's like, I get to walk away with this information that I didn't have at first. So it's in me, and I'm not ever afraid to invest in myself. I'm about these shoes. Like I said earlier, I'm about a purse or whatever. Why would you never want to invest in yourself and change the mindset? And if you can't get yourself there, then get a coach. Like, I realize I've been traveling a lot, but I also realize like I got some certain areas on my body I want to be more fit. In this moment, I'm going to probably have to hire a coach to take me further. I know how to get to the gym, work out, and eat good, but in certain things to push me and do in specific areas, it's a coach. So if you can't get yourself there, you can get yourself as far as you can. And then God has other people that's been through other things that can help you. And don't be afraid to invest in yourself or pay for the mentorship, as long as it, not scammy or stuff, but, people price it. Sometimes people be like, oh man, this isn't, no, you were just afraid. But we actually bought a section for $4,000. Was that to take like a Instagram picture? But you wouldn't pay for the course or the mentorship to get you to make $40,000?
Right.
Abib put that in his pocket and said, thank you. Are y'all coming out next week?
And they invested in themselves.
Yeah, and it's a feel-good moment. And really, I think in life, I do know that we always chasing after a feeling, not necessarily the thing. It's like, this is going to make me feel good. And when I get in love or when I find love, I believe that I'm going to feel good. When I get $1 million, I believe I'm going to feel good. So, so honestly, all you got to do is get in the feeling state first.
I like that. I never thought about that. We all are chasing the feeling. Like a lot of people like who do drugs, they're chasing the first time they did it. They're like, oh man, it feels so good. I'm trying to get that high again. Everything's like that in life. Yeah, like when you had a lot of money, you're like, oh man, I was good. I was able to go out the store and buy whatever I wanted.
But that's the anxiety that it's given. Like, listen, when I got down here in that business, did all the other stuff, and I'm making the 10,000, all the other stuff, and then that happened. Really nothing dramatic happened to my life, but it was the thought of it, right? Because I spare no expenses. Like if it got something to do with me, I'm going to healing retreats, all types. I just came from Sedona and paid $5,000 just to be out there and talk to some spiritual teachers. So when I get back now mind you, I just went to go to a spiritual retreat where I think my vibration's about to raise, and they like, oh well, we can only pay you $600.
600 for what?
Next month. Like it went because we seen so many messed up things in our company. We couldn't cut ourselves a check, and we didn't have a good plan. Like truthfully, we should have been taking that money, reinvesting in our company, or getting business lines of credit or something to like hold us over until because we was losing clients. Mm-hmm. So we had so many employees. We had people that was in the office, and you don't want to, you still want to be a good employer. You still want to make sure that the people paid and all this other stuff, but we all struggling like, okay, we're going to put our money back in so that everybody can get paid because we going through a problem where our census is low, Medicaid ain't paying us, and now we got to stop our own payment. But I'm down here with a $5,000 overhead.
How was the retreat?
The retreat was good, but I'm saying when I got back home and they told me $600 and my rent out here is like $2,000. My car note was like $750. I'm talking about 75. $750. The insurance is like $500. And
yeah, I ain't gonna lie, car payments have went up.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm out here and I'm like, oh man. So what I told myself and what I'll tell anybody that's watching this, when you going through something like that, sometimes you got to search and see like what is turmoil in the inside. Like when you having money problems and stuff, and you just wasn't having a money problem, sometimes it is to reroute and fix something that you need to fix. But sometimes also it's something that's happening in our body that we don't know. You don't know if you're holding on to hate. You don't know if you're holding on to ungratefulness. You don't know. And sometimes you got to search and say, you can't, when I see a whole bunch of people that's spiritual and they don't got nothing, I'm not going to hold you. I don't follow them. You don't got nothing. Why? Where's the abundance at? God, it wants us to have abundance.
Yeah, I could see that to a certain degree. I think that it depends on what you want. Some people want the abundance of love. They want the abundance of just happiness. They don't really care about a lot of like real, true spiritual people don't have nothing. Like I believe in like God. I don't believe in religion personally, but if I was a Christian, I would say Jesus had nothing. Like he had love, but he didn't have.
I believe that. So God is coming from, it's infinite, and it has unlimited supply. So when I'm saying like when a person is really having like a struggle, like if you had a faith like Jesus, like actually what I was about to tell you earlier was when all that happened, the only thing what I told myself and I'll tell anybody else is I would ask myself, can I make it through the day? So was my lights paid? Did I have food in the refrigerator? And I try not to go into the future and I try not to go into the past. Did I have everything I need around me? I try not to think about if I owe Capital One or anything. Do I have all the necessities? Because I pull from the infinite and it's an unlimited source, right? So it's something I'm not giving myself, or it's something that I'm not being forgiven about. And I'm not going to hold you. I wasn't forgiven. When I was getting sued by a family member, and I had a lot of hate in me, and I was so hurt. And the hurt was, I couldn't believe we like brothers and sisters. How is this happening to me? And really, like it's for both of our own evolutions. Like maybe he was hurt. And the partner in the company was the baby mama. And,
he was part of the company.
He wasn't part of the company. The baby mama was, and they had issues, and he did fund the company in the beginning.
I see.
And then, but for me, we was raised like brother and sister. We, first cousins, and I'm like, dang, you wouldn't say, hey, I'm about to take your company down. I know your kids are eating from this. But then again, why would you give me that warning when hell, your kids is eating from it too? And I'm so mad at this person. So I was just like really an innocent bystander. And it's like, I'm forgiven now because I understand it wasn't personal. It was something that person was going through. But it was like a bad, really, really bad breakup.
So they broke up. I mean, I guess one of the lessons in that I've learned too is just like, it's tough to do business with family. Because people can get vicious, especially those types of situations where people break up and now they want to tear her down. But that's tearing you down. But you're just, like you said, innocent bystander.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. So do you believe in manifestation?
Absolutely. That's a part of the mindset. I just told somebody last night, I said, I believe at some point I can teach that. But,
teach what?
Manifestation.
Mm-hmm. See, that's why this is my brand right here called Manifest.
Oh, well, I didn't read that.
Yeah. It's spelled Pheste. Like
That's
my name.
Dope.
So on the back of it says I'm the next millionaire. All the designs, all of our designs have an affirmation on it.
Yeah.
So what's your thoughts on like manifestation? Like how do you manifest?
So truthfully, I got into manifestation in about how old am I? I want to say my age, but about my daughter's 14. So anywhere from 12 to 14 years ago. And I started reading Napoleon Hill books, Neville Goddard
Is that
books.
the Think and Grow Rich?
He got this one book called Outwitting the Devil. That one's a really, really good one. But I think it got in a vault for like a whole bunch of years, and then they released it in 2012. But he basically having a conversation with the devil, and the devil is telling him how the society is keeping him relevant. He was like, I don't need to do anything. Y'all keeping me relevant. The schools keep me relevant. The cancer sticks, the cigarettes, like all of this stuff, lust, all this other stuff keep me relevant. I don't really do anything. Matter of fact, when you go to church, they keep me relevant. They're talking about me.
Yeah, I mean, I believe that the devil is more of an energy, evil, than a person or a being. That's my opinion.
Yeah, well, so it's just basically it's talking to the spirit. You gotta at least have you ever heard of short forms?
No.
It's like books that kind of give you summarize. So if you don't, because it's
I didn't know about that.
Yeah, so it's a nice read. I think it's probably about 300 pages, and then I think if you listen to the audio, it's about 2.5, 3 hours. But short forms, I also break it down to like 30 or 45 minutes and summarize it. But it's a really, really good read. Really.
Yeah.
But
you know what's interesting is that when I first started my journey into manifestation, I read that same book, Think and Grow Rich.
I had it for a long time too, and I just didn't pick it up.
Yeah,
Somebody gave it to me during my graduation.
Yeah, that's a good one. It's a classic.
Yeah.
It kind of opens your mind to it. I think that manifestation is very powerful. I think that it can change people's lives. I think people do it and don't realize it. And I think that a lot of people do it the wrong way. They do it backwards. Negative manifestation is when you keep telling yourself bad things about yourself. You keep doubting yourself. You keep looking in the mirror and saying bad things. You keep saying that you're about to go about your day. You're like, oh, it's not going to work out. Oh, it's not going to happen the way I planned. And they keep having all these negative self-thoughts. They say it out loud. They say it in their mind. They say it to their friends. And what it does is they're manifesting everything they don't want.
Yeah, well, I think we always manifesting no matter what, whether it's good or bad. It's just that sometimes where we born into, we have limited beliefs. So the way that I manifest now, like after Reno's, Esther Hicks, have you ever heard of her? She was a big one. So she used to tap into some type of energy, and I don't know, the energy was called Abraham, but it was Esther. I forgot her husband, but he died. But anyways, they were called the Hicks. But I would listen to their YouTubes and stuff all the time back in 2010 and stuff. And I just kind of got heavy into it. I got heavy into meditation, Reiki, anything kind of like that, rocks, crystals, all that type of stuff. But truthfully, what I end up kind of sticking with is having the self-concept. So when, like I said earlier, feeling is the secret. So if you already feel a way, it connects with you. So even if you feel down, even if you feel like you're not worthy or something or whatever, it has to find its way and connect with you. So that's why you got to be careful with your words, be careful of your thoughts. Like you got to sometimes control your thoughts. Like like I feel like I can leave here and I could think of something that you said, right? But if it's not serving to me, I got to zap that out. It ain't even really serving to me. So you got to be conscious of, why am I thinking this? That person told me I can't do it. Why am I thinking about that? That ain't, serving to me. So you got to do like this quality damage control to your thoughts at all times, because we having millions of downloads, and most of the time it's repetitive stuff. It's stuff that you remember from childhood. It's stuff that you remember from yesterday. So you only probably got 20 new thoughts, and the rest is all this old stuff that's just coming up, and it's just controlling that. Like, well, thank you for passing through. Zap, zap, zap. So I just believe in living in it in the end, and having a self concept, like already seeing yourself there.
Yeah, no, you definitely made a lot of sense. Like your thoughts is exactly what makes you feel a certain way. And the way you feel is what makes you act a certain way. So if you can get to the core of it, your thoughts, that's the way you're able to, find happiness. Because if you think things are bad, it's bad. If I say, it's hot in here, it's hot in here. If I say I feel good, I feel good. It's really that simple. Like we can control the way we feel based on our thoughts. And so if you're always having negative self-thought, you're always going to feel bad. Because if you go to a restaurant, you're eating food and you say, this food sucks, it needs more salt or whatever, and then it sucks. But if you go in there and you're like, this is good, it's good.
You're right. Or you're just having a good day. If you hadn't got in an argument with your girlfriend or your boyfriend earlier or your kids and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Like, because you can go in there and you can already have energy out for something else. And now everything else, your favorite restaurant is the worst restaurant.
Yeah, you're eating, you're just like, oh, I don't want to eat this right now.
Yeah.
But you were excited all day.
Yeah.
So you're right. So it's like the way you feel and think is going to really affect, all these things.
And I ask my sister, like she might be, I had this bad snap. Like, how did you feel before you went in there? Or what was the conversation? Or did you already expect these people to fuck up? And when I ask those questions, I don't say like, so I'm like at 75, 80%. I'm not going to say I'm at 100% where I'm always controlling. Sometimes I'm completely off conscious and ready to turn up too.
Yeah.
But for the most part, like, I think it's when I do my affirmations and my journaling and praying and stuff, those things kind of keep me grounded to be conscious throughout the day. But if I'm not, if I'm so invested in work or so invested in fixing your problems and all the other type of stuff, then sometimes my frequency drop too. And I'm all,
everywhere.
Yeah.
Nobody's perfect.
Yeah. So,
but you are right that you have to control your thoughts. You have to find a way when you're going in them moments where you're starting to lose it. It's not always going to be easy to control your thoughts, but the answer is find a way to exit that state of mind. By a lot of times, maybe you got to take a walk. Maybe you're like, I got to walk away from this. If you're arguing with somebody, it's like you can keep going, but if you can't control your thoughts in that moment. You got to walk away. You got to exit the moment. People don't realize that they have no control over their thoughts. They just let their thoughts do whatever they want and completely control their actions. You got to find a way to control your thoughts. If you don't, you're never going to find success or happiness.
And give yourself grace. Like,
right, we all make mistakes.
Yeah, even if you have a fucked up thought, be like, I am having a human experience and it's okay. But, I want to figure out why I'm feeling this way. I think sometimes people don't give themselves enough grace. Mm-hmm. I used to not give myself grace. Or I used to be hard on myself. But now, I be doing a lot of forgiving. I be forgiving myself, forgiving others, hoping that people that can forgive me that may feel wrong done by me and vice versa. Because sometimes when you feel wrong done, you don't know what this person has. Like, you got to think thoughts is real to you. Like, you could be up there creating some big stuff in your head that I have no idea. So you don't know what someone else is creating and why it's such a bad thing. So, I just be like, okay, let me forgive anyone that I may feel wrong done by, because maybe it's so much other stuff that I don't understand, and just giving people grace. Like, I think it's really hard for most people to give people grace, or just with the world we live in, like social media and stuff. Like, I mean, gosh, social media, it tears you apart.
Well, people are so full of pride. It's hard to give people grace when you have so much, when you're not humble at all. I think that self-forgiveness and forgiving other people is very important, because especially with other people, if you don't forgive them, they're affecting your ability to have peace. Because you always got to worry about, oh, they tried me, or they did that thing, and we ain't never deal with this. So it's always energy that's between them. So whenever they're around or talked about, you just feel bad. You're like, oh, fuck them. But it's like, maybe you should just forgive them. You don't have to forgive people and still like them or still be around them.
Or trust them.
Or trust them.
Hey, I don't trust you, but I don't want this on me anymore.
Right. You can feel that way with me. I don't feel that way with you.
Yeah.
You're freeing that tension. You should never let somebody else have your happiness. Your happiness should be your decision, which means that you can do whatever you want to me. I'm going to cut you off, but I'm not mad, because that takes away from my happiness. I'm too peaceful for that. If you can find that place, and for yourself too, though, self-forgiveness.
Yeah. So I think sometimes society has taught us like to be verbally or mental or physically abused is loving you. Like, I'm trying to love you, instead of me not realizing I'm not loving myself. Like, you come over here and slap me and I'll be like, well, what did I do? Or this and that. And I'm trying to love you. And then I get on social media and be like, he hits me all the time. I'm just trying, but also I'm being a hostage to this, because hey, I can leave. Like, I love that person enough and I'm going to send them love, but I'm not going to be abused in this. I'm not going to be held hostage because the love I have for someone. Yeah. And I think a lot of people stay stuck in stuff because they believe that it's being loving, or they're fighting and they don't realize that they're not loving themselves properly. I had to learn how to love myself properly. I didn't know, like a lot of times, I think I came, like I said, my mother was 17 and she got rejected with my father. I mean, she was a kid and he 11 years older than her. So her rejection, I think when I was growing up, I always had to overcompensate and overprove, like, for love, like just to her. And I think the complex probably got because, maybe in her mind, she probably trying to feel like, why did we get rejected? That's just what I came up with now when I'm trying to heal and go through stuff. Like maybe she, maybe she was so hard on me because she felt like I don't understand why I didn't get accepted. And you're the reason or something like that. I don't know. I mean,
she put it on you.
Yeah. So she's a proud mom now and stuff. But I think throughout those times, I think she was always critiquing me, always combing my hair, always doing this stuff. And I couldn't understand, like, I'm not good enough. And those aren't the words. I didn't know what to use them. But I started seeing them and they started showing up in dating. And
I don't think that she meant to do it. I think we actually touched the subject earlier when we talked about people will try to give you what they feel like is best. Mm-hmm. She didn't want you to be rejected.
Yeah.
She's like, let me teach her not to be rejected. But unfortunately, what it does is it creates a complex in your kid to feel like they might get rejected. Like it's a real thing. You should never expect rejection or even think it's a possibility. If you're confident.
Yeah.
But if somebody tells you, hey, don't do that, you might get rejected. You're like, oh, rejected? Oh, I might get rejected? Oh. Now you're thinking like, oh, shit.
Or you're just constantly just trying to, hey, I poured your drink, I did your water, I did this, I did that, I ran to the store, and you overly trying to prove to someone, get someone's approval. So I felt like I always did that. I'm the only child too, so I always did that with my mom because, I wanted her to be proud of me. And then I also fought her because I was always fighting for my independency because you got to understand she has like empty nester. I'm her only kid. So she's fighting for control and I'm fighting for independency. And my spirit too big for anybody to control it. So, I'd be laughing at her when she be going through this. I'd be like, why are you going through this? Well, you've been going through this with me since a kid. You got to give it up, but so when I watch her and I'll be like, is she falling apart? Like, why is she doing this when she knows? And I think sometimes she had to go talk herself out of it. Like, yeah, I don't know. But,
So let me ask you this. What's the hardest struggle that you went through in your life?
I think it was me trying to be accepted and trying to figure out where I fit in at. I was trying to always figure out where did I fit in at. And some people be like, you one of the cool people. And I'll be like, I never feel cool or anything like that. And then the cool people are, because I feel like I was always been a bit socially awkward. Like I can have a conversation with anybody, but I'm like abruptly ready to go. I'm like very blunt and a lot of people can't. I had to learn how to have emotional intelligence and filter things because I was very blunt. And I think that also came from my mom. Like, okay, everybody don't got to hear what you got to say. And you are hurting people's feelings. But are you hurting people's feelings because you feel weird in the inside and you trying to like get them away from you? I'm very, very sarcastic. Like I kind of, like I said, filter it now, but I think just me trying to be accepted was a really struggle for me. Yeah.
Well, you don't seem socially awkward to me. And I think, but you know what? Maybe I feel like some people, I'm that way sometimes too. I feel like if you can sense energy, you don't really want to be around too much bad energy. You go somewhere like, I ain't really feeling this shit. You know what I mean? If you're not feeling this shit, it means you're feeling something.
Yeah, I seen you loosen up over there. I was like, he liking me. He liked this interview a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think that, you should never seek acceptance. Yeah. As long as you accept yourself, that's all that really matters.
Yeah, and I had to learn that. So I had to learn that, okay, people, and me and my sister talk about this too, people can only give you what they have. So sometimes we looking for people to give us more and they can't give you any more love than what they have in them. So if I only got like a little bit, that's all I can give you, and you got to understand it. So
yeah, you can only give the amount of love that you have.
Yeah,
you can't give something you don't have.
Yeah.
If I have an empty water bottle, I can't give you no water. You know? So you have to look at love like that. Look at the water bottle and say, like, this water bottle is full right now. If I'm full of love, like this is my love and it's full, then I can give you a full water bottle.
Yeah.
But if my love is on empty and this is an empty bottle, how can I give you love? I don't have any to give.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of people are like, I don't give a fuck. I hate that saying, I don't give a fuck. Even though I say it sometimes, you know, but I don't like it because you have to give a fuck. If you don't give a fuck, then what you have, you don't have no self-love.
It's a protection word.
Yeah, it is.
It's a protection word, and it's a shutdown word, and you like, you
never really mean.
Yeah, matter of fact, when you said I don't give a fuck, you give a fuck.
Yeah, why'd you say it? You took the time to say it.
Yes, but it's just a protection word because you're shutting down and you don't know what to do, and it's frightening you, so you're going into a shell. I don't give a like I've said it, and knowing I care, but I'm protecting myself too because the inner child is in you. So this kid come up and it's like, oh my gosh, I need protection. So then the big one you was trying to protect the inner child that feels helpless. And that's when you go to I don't give a fuck. Like sometimes it ain't talking to 30s and 40s years old. Sometimes it's 2 6-year-olds talking to each other. And you got to figure out what's going on. Or sometimes you might be the 30 or 40-year-old talking and you like, why is she talking like that? And it's the 16-year-old me that is in fear like of the rejection or any of that stuff. And you got to have enough emotional intelligence to be like, okay, I don't think I'm talking to that well-spoken spiritual person right now. No, you're probably talking to my inner child, my angry teenager person, the person that felt anger when I was a teen.
That's so true. I never actually heard somebody say that before. It's like you don't realize that everything you've ever been is still in you. It's still there, and it comes out sometimes. So if you've been a dark person, it can find its way out. And
we all got it, and that's why you got to have grace and compassion for people because we all got that. We all have the ability to have a lot of love and we have ability to hate. We have an ability to kill a whole bunch of people or to love a whole bunch of people. So you got to ask yourself not, like what happened with that person for this person to end up here. Like no one just, when you look at babies just come in the world and they just form. You know what I'm saying? They don't have love or hate. It's whatever the fuck you teach them or whatever they go through in life.
It's a mold. You mold them into what they want to become.
Yeah. So what you see later on, like, damn, we all turn into these big monsters and all this other stuff, but it's all the stuff you went through. And then at some point it becomes your job to heal yourself. Like it don't matter what your mom and dad did. It don't matter. Like I just told you about my mom and my dad rejecting her and all that other stuff. Do I walk around and be like, my daddy wasn't there for me, so I'm just going to disrespect you as a man or this and that? Like, no, I got to heal that part. I got to figure out. But I did put the pieces together. I wanted to know, hey, why wasn't you here? Well, it was hard I heard his side of the story. Mm-hmm. Now, she might not have liked it, but I heard it was hard to be there, this and that and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, you do understand. Just hear me out. She was 16. So everything she was doing with you, she was reacting like a 16-year-old. Somewhere in there when she turned 26 and 36, maybe y'all should have just had a conversation because I feel like the hate that she hold on to is just needing to hear, I'm sorry, and it wasn't really, you didn't do anything. It just wasn't it.
Yeah.
Because
situation.
Yeah, it's just a rejection. But I see, like when I see people my age just going through it, I'll be like, hey, all you got to do. I've dated a guy and he was telling me about his baby mom and all this other stuff and how evil she is and how evil she is to the kid and stuff. And I'm listening and then trying to be this supportive person. I said, hey, all you got to do is call this person up. I don't want to have anything to do with it, but I really know what to do with the situation. All you got to do is call her up and say, hey, you was not a bad person. We was just young. I was figuring out life and you was the person that was willing to go through this stuff. I'm sorry and you're a good person. I don't want to be with you or anything, but I do want to tell you I'm sorry and thank you for raising my kids. I said, you don't understand how much it'll lift you.
You got to be careful. You might mess around and lose your man.
I don't care. But even if so.
No, you said the truth, though. I'm just
Yeah. So anybody that wouldn't and live in that fear, it's 7 billion, 8 billion people on the planet. I do want to have it. Like eventually one day I do want to have my companion and grow old with and all that other stuff. I don't know how that's going to be in life, but if that had happened at the time, then I've lived this long, and and I'm not gonna say my feelings wouldn't be hurt, but I'll get over it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because at least those people are where they need to be
You
at.
did the right thing. And you know what? Eventually it may have happened anyway. So
Yeah.
it might as well be now.
Yeah,
For him to
but
deep
he was, I don't think it happened. He was so against it, like, nah, because I know her. He was carried about his self-image. She gonna go on the internet and tell people, oh, now he apologizes and that. But I'm looking like y'all hate and love is on the same spectrum. You understand what I'm
It's on
saying?
two different sides. The same
So
spectrum.
yeah, but it's on the same spectrum. So this hate you have for her, it really formulated from a love that
You
couldn't
can
get
only
right.
hate someone that much if you love them at one time. That's what makes it hurt.
Yeah,
Is because you went there that far. If you can go that far this way, you can go this far this way.
yeah. So, and I ain't your therapist, and I ain't any of that stuff. Like I'm just telling you to do what's right.
Right. I mean, on a
Right.
therapy perspective, like you were right when you said that you have to face your childhood. And the reason why I know that is when you go to therapy, which I've been in therapy before.
Give me another joke.
Oh yeah, go for it. Yeah, it's for us, whatever. But yeah, like one of the first things they're gonna do is start asking you about what was it like growing up for you. They're gonna start asking you those questions like, did you go through anything as a childhood? Because it does stick with you, and the only way you're gonna be able to really heal is to face your childhood. And I put a post up earlier, and I was talking about like the only way that you're gonna be able to be at 100% is to heal. Because if you get hurt, if you play sports, you get injured, you're not going to be able to play 100% until you're healed. You're not going to be able to jump on the court and be able to dunk the ball like you were if your foot is still injured.
Yeah,
so
and
you have
it's
to heal.
hunting you. So think about like when I was telling you about the low self-concept or the low self-worth. And even as a child, so again, my mother, 17, my heart go out to her really more so than she might think that it's something else. So we got this 17-year-old. She come from a 2-family home. And she do something different, and now she don't have a baby daddy. So then she goes on with life, and she tries to make a family. And then something happens where I get basically molested, and she feels like it's her fault. But
By
then
someone she was with.
yeah, so she went through a thing where, I want you to tell me it's a lie because it was on my dime, but also think about the therapy that I probably needed as a kid. Again, and it showed up in relationships because of like the unworthiness and trying to be accepted. Like, I've been developed since 10. So I know I got the sex appeal, but I got all this other stuff to offer. Let's just do this. Let's read the Bible. Let's read the Florence Scovel Sheen books. Let's play the game. Like I got a childlike personality. And I'm good with the sexual stuff too, but I want someone to see me for more than that.
Of course.
Right? So I think that's why sometimes the overachievement came and that me not understanding, my worth or my value, where I shouldn't have to do anything. Like either you like me or you fucking don't.
Yeah, and some of that could have came from like when your mom, when you were saying like you were young,
Yeah,
what she was putting on you.
Yeah, and I feel like it was the molestation. Like if you feel dirty about yourself and all this other stuff, then you just like, okay, I want to hide this stuff. I want to and just want to be properly loved.
I'm sorry you had to go through that.
Yeah.
So does it still affect you today? Do you feel like it still bothers you?
I don't think it do.
So have you ever tried going to counseling?
I haven't. I said I was going to start investing. It's funny because I was talking to one of my coaches and he was like, you do so much self-help, like you know how to navigate yourself out. So I do think it'll help maybe in some ways, but you kind of like, got all the tools that it's like it's up to you type of thing. But
I kind of agree, but then I don't fully agree.
Yeah.
I think that the hardest thing that we don't really know is how to help ourselves. A lot of us know how to help others, but we don't know how to help ourselves enough.
Yeah.
We know a little bit, but we don't know enough. Even though we know ourselves so well, it's the reason why is it's easier to see. Like if you're in the middle, this is you're in the middle. You can't see everything. When people on the outside looking in, they can see things you can't see. They can see. You can only see this angle. They can see every 360 of your mind.
I think the the stuff that happened, I do think it affects like my love life. Like I think it affects, like someone asked me, why do you think you're single? It's not like any other things that be on the internet. Like I'm a strong, independent woman, or I don't need a man, or any of that stuff. But I think I have such a low tolerance, and I think I don't be wanting to lose my independence. And I think the word is autonomy with it. And also,
See, I'm not a psychologist, but then I would think maybe you didn't feel like you had that freedom and autonomy when you were growing up in that situation. You
yeah.
kind of feel like you were forced to do something that you didn't want to do, which is losing your freedom and autonomy. So some of those things might, if you did talk to counsel, they might be able to help you, kind of disassociate that with who you are, because it's not who you are. It's just something that happened to you.
Yeah, so I even think that even me being a serial preneur, like someone asked me the other day, they was like, well, if you even got into a relationship, how would you handle that? And I'm like, I don't even know if I would be doing all this stuff if there was a relationship. But because there wasn't anything, the void had to be filled. I had to learn how to love myself and understand that give yourself the love that you may be looking for another, that another person to give you. And then like do all this stuff where you don't even have that void. And if it come along and you get invested, then figure out how to make it work. But until then, I'm not going to fight for anything.
Well,
So
that's the best way. I don't think you should look for love.
yeah.
I think that the real true love finds you. And when you try to look for it, you find the wrong love.
Yeah.
You try to force it. You're like, oh, I got to find somebody. You go on Instagram, you're talking to anybody. It's like, next thing you know, you're on an air mattress. Like, what am I doing?
Oh my God. He said you're on an air mattress. What am I doing? Yeah. Yeah. But I do think in that way, I think it's a bit of the molestation, and I think it's a little bit of not having a father figure. So again, that's the acceptance part. So not only when I'm saying the mom is making me do this, then if I'm not accepted by my own dad, then how do I feel properly? Unless you are completely healed and understand, how do I feel properly loved by that person? My own dad didn't accept me. So
Right.
I have been working through that. So that's why I'm saying, like, in some aspect, I'm like, okay, I think I'm ready to invest. And I know that I'm able to receive it. Like, I'm not going to go to therapy, counselor, any of that stuff and can't receive anything because I'm really a matrix person. Like, I'm measuring myself every 30 days damn near and observing and saying, okay,
You should.
what I did last month, okay, well, maybe I crashed out, but not this month. So I'm always measuring myself and being
Well, I feel like you're comparing yourself to yourself, who you were last month. That's the only comparison you should ever make. You shouldn't compare yourself to other people.
yeah.
Compare yourself. What did I do last year, this month? What did I do last month? But I will say that just from meeting you, I would say definitely you're a great person. You definitely have a great heart, and it is going to come. You know what I'm saying? And don't look for acceptance. You'll meet someone who accepts you as you are.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? If they don't, then they're not good enough. But so I'm gonna get back to like what you do. So tell me a little bit more about your mindset and business coaching. That's what you do, right? You
Yeah.
coach people for
So,
mindset.
because it's to unlock the mindset. So, like I said, it started after I lost everything and I had to rebuild up. So, the first thing I had to do was I had to live off of my credit for 6 to 8 months. And with that, I wanted to figure out, okay, if I'm living off my credit, how do I take my businesses and implement them and get the business credit? So what I did was take a HELOC loan on one of my houses and pay down all of my personal credit cards. And then I started taking out business loans. And with the business loans, I had capital. And now I could get from there. So I rebuilt my healthcare business back. And then I'm opening a wine and tea lounge that's coming soon in Dayton, Ohio. It's called Sayoko Leaf and Vine. Nice. It was supposed to open this month, but we had a couple permit issues. Yeah. So it's a brick and mortar, and that's something new for me. But anyway.
So you live here?
I live here.
Okay, but you just be back and forth with it.
Yeah. And what I had made up throughout this time is, I want to help other people with their hobbies or entrepreneurs learn how to shift their mindset, gain capital, and make profit. And that's how I started the Bulletproof Entrepreneurs. So I created
Bulletproof Entrepreneurs.
Bulletproof.
Okay, I got you.
So it's like a bullet. So with that, why I call it Bulletproof is because I help structure their business from start to finish, either in a group coaching. I also have an ebook, and it just helps structure their business from start to finish. And then what type of business, I help them with their business names, what's brandable, logos, marketing, all that cool stuff. Because sometimes, you don't want to open up an Aunt Shirley's and wonder why people aren't coming. Like, it can work, but you got to put money behind it. I help them. The mindset part is putting money behind it. Like, you can have something, but are you willing to pay ads to push it through social media? Because then you're like, why ain't nobody coming or whatever? Well, your marketing sucks.
And how to do it the right way.
Yeah. So, just help structuring those things. But the first step is their mindset and their credit. I know that they're on the internet and they're looking at, hey, you can get capital up to $250,000 and with no doc loans and all that stuff. And that's all really a sales pitch. Now, truthfully, no bank without no business plan is going to give you that.
Right.
However, you can credit card stack. You can get lines of credit and you can get credit cards, and that will help you fund some stuff. It'll help you fund the cameras if you got a YouTube idea, if you got a landscaping idea, and you can not have to use your own money. But sometimes people don't know that, and they look at, why can I get this $250,000 of funding? Well, have you filed taxes on this business, or have you,
Do you have a plan, period?
Yeah. So that's basically, it's the Bulletproof Entrepreneur, and just being real with people. I think, I don't know if I should call people a scam that want to hear get rich quick scheme, or the people that's selling it, because I think they only selling it because that's what they know people want to hear. You know what I'm saying?
Thanks, for sure.
So I'm out here with that. Like,
it's a scam, and then there's people who are gullible enough to get scams.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people are.
Yeah, but I just think that it's just a sales gimmick. Like, I think that people that selling it or saying it, they really got to take still certain steps. It's just that when somebody's saying, like, I had somebody get their credit fixed. Well, they got their credit fixed by someone else, and they was like, they're doing a credit sweep, and I'm going to pay them whatever it was double what I was charging. So they came back and they was like, well, it went off and it came back, and I explained to them what they did. I said, really what they did was freeze your credit report and, did all these other stuff. And then it shows back up later. Truthfully, credit is something that you can do yourself.
Right.
The thing is, it's tedious. So that's the only reason why you're paying me. Anybody, you can do it yourself, use all the laws, read the books, and send the letters. But do you really feel like doing that every 30 days? Right. So that's the reason why I'm going to
stay consistent with it.
Yeah, that's why my system is set in place. I have an automated system that's creating all of this stuff that is taking all the work from you. However, you can go on my website and you can get all of the credit letters. I don't know if they're for free right now or they're for $5.99, but you can get them and send them. But most people don't feel like printing them off or don't do any of that stuff. So again, you can take my service, get your credit fixed. The next step is structuring your business if it's not already structured. So that means from name to color palettes to websites to domains, emails, LLCs, Secretary of States, Duns and Brad, and whatever the business is, and then getting the business credit or the business credit cards, just getting them all prepared for that, and then helping them with their mind of, okay, you have to spend. So you got to spend with me to coach you, and you got to spend to get some more money in. So don't be afraid of it, because it's just all circulating. It's all energy. It's all in the universe. Don't get some money and hold it like sand, because all it's going to do is come out.
Out the bag slowly.
Yeah.
Like it's got a hole in the bag. That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to be willing to spend and invest in yourself.
Yeah. I'm telling you, I was out here and I was door dashing. My friends didn't even believe it, because you got to think, we were, like I told you earlier, like some people see me as the it person. Like I don't really care about that type of stuff, but other people did. So now I'm shifting. Like, I am so thankful that I got the ability to shift. Like, I'm thankful from God, the universe, whatever they call the master of all of this stuff. I really think off record, I don't know if you want to put this on here or not, but I really think we in some dome, and whatever the creator is out there is telling their entities, don't go back to that place. That place is fucked up. We fucked up there. It was a bad experiment. That's a joke that I say, but sometimes I think we a bad experiment while we think divine and all this other shit, and they like.
I think that this is possible.
Don't go over there.
I mean, us being an experiment. But I'm going to tell you, if that's true, I'm going to tell you what I think. I think that it would be a simulation. Like, we're not even fucking real. We're a computer. And they just put it on like The Sims. They're like, let's just put it on this setting and see what they do. And then the other computers are saying they watch us are like, those motherfuckers, what are they doing? You know what I'm saying? Like,
and they telling they offsprings, I said, don't go. You went too north. To the northeast. I really think so. Why everybody think they been divine and stuff. I think the things that's creating us is like, y'all fucked up. And we just letting y'all have y'all way until whenever the fuck. But
yeah, I think it's possible.
But
I wouldn't be surprised. But you know what? I don't even like think about it too much because I don't want to believe that. I want to believe that we are what we say we are. But I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, I mean, that's just so no one knows enough to be a pessimist. So it's just a possibility.
Absolutely.
The other possibility is we are like, you don't act. I live in Pearland. You live over here, and it's a nigga in Africa. We all see the same sun. So we all pour from something of the same source. We all see the same stars. Like I said, I mean, the joke was the dome thing, but
I mean, they say we have a firmament.
A what?
A firmament.
What's that?
It's a dome over the earth.
See, this is what I'm saying.
Some people think that flat earth theories.
Yeah, but I do think that we all pulling from the source and we all can tap into different energies. Like I believe that even when you talked about manifestation earlier, I believe that you can go and meditate and ask the spirit for you to tap into whatever the fuck Albert Einstein was doing. Like, those are nothing but spirits that once walked the earth, and you can tap into that too. Like whatever gave it the genius, like, okay, subconscious mind, it's now time for me to tap into my genius self. Yeah. You know, like we all born with gifts. And I think like even with me doing a Bulletproof Entrepreneur, I think sometimes people don't understand, are you walking in your gift? You're doing some shit that you don't even want to do, but your gift is over here and you're so good at it. Like even me with the coaching, like my gift is...
What's your gift?
I think my gift is helping people see who they are, you know what I'm saying, and their gifts.
So that's what your company is based around.
Yeah,
using your gifts. I think that it's very possible that consciousness is just a big bank of consciousness. And a lot of these people who are geniuses were able to figure out how to tap into it more. But I think you have to try. You know, if you don't believe it's there, you don't believe that you could pull into... A lot of people say like musicians have a muse.
Yeah.
Like somebody who's able to, like some sort of energy that comes around and they're able to tap into it and like you get in their zone, they lock in.
But it's those vibrations and stuff too. So you got to think Beethoven, all that type of stuff. If you are on those frequencies and those frequencies are taking you there quicker, then that's why they get in the zone out and all that other kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they find a way to tap in that frequency.
Yeah. And I think that how my son helped me see it is when you play in Grand Theft Auto, you have non-playing characters. Mm-hmm. So I think, and I think that me and you are non-playing characters in other people's life. So when you understand that you are the star of your own life, and however you scripted it, whether it's good or bad or whatever, you're the main character. And some people are being extras in their movie instead of saying, hey, this is my movie. Like I could be sitting here and just like, let him ask all the questions and all this other stuff because I'm playing a non-playing character instead of me saying, hey, whatever's happening in his movie is happening in his movie, but this is my movie. So I'm doing what I'm supposed to do because everything is you pushed out. And even the good or bad, sometimes, you know, I ask myself, like, if everything is me pushed out, I know I ain't like that. But also it's to help test me to see how can I overcome this. If you don't pass this test, you got to play this board again. So if I didn't, like I said, when I was down here and I was door dashing, my friends asking me, it was like, oh, I just got to stay busy. This ain't my life. Even when I first started in the projects with the 2 kids, I would go into that apartment and scream and say, who the fuck life is this? Whoever the fuck life is this, you can have it back. This ain't my life. This ain't the life I seen for myself. So what I was doing was pushing the old frequency out because it kept trying to creep back in. Like, I know you're trying to go somewhere, but nah, who do you think you are? You're going to be right here. And it was like this internal voice or this whatever, like, nah, don't forget who you came from. Like, I don't even like when people say don't forget. I want to forget it. It wasn't nothing good about it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I can appreciate it and understand it shaped me, but why won't I forget where I came from?
So the only reason I think people say that is they say don't forget where you came from because you want to realize how far you came. You know, you're like, I remember I was there and I'm here now. You can appreciate it more because you're like, I'll never go back to that. So you don't want to hold on to it. Just remember it, but don't hold on to it.
Yeah, I think for you writing that in your journal and saying, I'll never forget where I came from. I did all these steps and I got here. But when someone else is saying it to you, I think they're saying that they're uncomfortable.
Yeah. It's some hate shit.
Yeah, they're uncomfortable. You're making them uncomfortable. You're showing me that I could have done more. And I need you not to do that because you're making me see that I didn't do what I needed to do to get where I need to be. Yeah. So it's like, you know, when you see those movies and you see a person go off to be a lawyer or a doctor or something, and they come back and visit Big Mama's house, all the cousins and all the brothers and sisters don't really like that person. And, you know, saying, I've been here with mama and I've been this and that, but to get the level of the doctor, you really can't sit outside on the fucking porch and drink all day. Even if that's what you rather do, you just can't because you locking in.
I mean, I think it's just simply jealousy. A lot of people get jealous of your success.
Yeah.
And they
I think it just exposes. It exposes
how they really feel.
It exposes to me that you're doing something and it's exposing to me that I could be doing more. So really, I don't like when you come around because it makes me feel like, why the fuck I ain't doing what I'm supposed to do? Because like I said, we all got a gift. I got a cousin that cook good chicken. It's still a gift. You understand what I'm saying? Everybody will buy it. She cooks it and she cooks it for free for us and it tastes good. Now it's hard for me to help her see like this your gift.
You should cook for other people.
Yeah.
Make a bag.
Yeah.
Open a restaurant.
Yeah, but you at a nurse, she's a nurse, and don't get me wrong that the world need nurses, but you don't even want to do that. Yeah, you don't even want to do it. You're there probably giving people medicine wrong and all type of stuff. But I'm looking at her. She love it. She like, if I come to town, she ready to pull out the broaster and do all this stuff. And like, I'm looking
just imagine if she could wake up every day and just do what she loves. So if you could say something to the youth, like something that could have helped you growing up, what would you say?
I would tell them to just believe in them. If they got an idea, believe in it. And no matter what mom and dad say, if they really believe that it's going to work, and try it. You know, most of the time people don't know something that you might can see. Like, can't nobody else see your dream? I don't know what's going on in your head. Now you can tell me, and if you feel like I'm trustworthy, then we can help plot it out. You know what I'm saying? To take it all out your head, but I don't know what's going on in your head and I can't see. So even if I say, I don't know if that'll work or I don't know, it's what the infinite tapped into you and gave you the hunch to do. Go do it and your people will come. And that's one of my prayers is God always send me the right people for the right purpose. I believe that, like, okay, well, I might have the right people for this right purpose and the right people for this right purpose is coming to me for certain situations. That happened to me.
People come from a chapter.
Yeah, that happened to me a couple years ago, like when I was going through all of that stuff and then I had to rebuild myself. I was like, what is something you know? What is something that you can help? Because I also understand, I don't know how I feel about jobs. I don't know, we get back there, but job is something that people create for you. But I'm like, what is this something I can do? It's always of service. My love language is acts of service. I'm like, okay, I can help people fix their credit. I know how to do it. I've done it. And at this point, I'm getting a $300 check. So now I got to shift to hustle. I'm doing DoorDash and when I go back to credit. But I'm writing credit letters. I'm doing all this stuff. And I'm doing it the hard way because the world has shifted to automation. And I don't know, like this is 2020 now or 2021, but I know how to, I'm very educated and very, what is it called when you, what is it called when you micromanage? Like just doing all the stuff and doing all the work and prideful in it. And I meet this guy and he kind of asked me what I'm doing. I go to Invest Fest and he like, what are you doing? And da 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 da. And I'm telling him and he like, I got a system. I'm like, a system?
Yeah.
So I get into this system. I'm like, but here's the thing. I'm prideful about my name. I need to know that this works.
Right.
You know, so he like, all right, I give it to you for 30 days for free. Now with this system, you're going to put all your knowledge in the system and everything else is going to be automated. My life just became easier. So again, that was one of my prayers. God sends the right people for the right purpose. It uplifted so many things. That $200 or $300, again, that was an investment too. Like he gave it to me for 30 days. But after that, I'm like, okay, good system. I'm seeing the results. Boom, the investment. But again, the right people for the right purpose came into my life. And success loves speed. It loves speed. And even if you screw up something or, you know, you feel like you waste your money, it's energy. Money is just I think people think money is to like, I don't know, I can buy the hottest shoes or whatever, but it's a tool that you use. Like, okay, well, again, I got to buy the camera or the speaker, or I got to buy whatever. Like, why not? I can use this $300 to buy the system. Let me buy the system,
Right.
you know, and then next month when I get another $300, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. So I was like, okay, fuck it. I'm in. And I realized that was one of the prayers. And I kind of told him, I was like, you know, I think it was sent to me through my prayer. He was one of those people because how I met him was just like, I met him at an Ohio event actually. But then when I re-met him and we talked about what we did, it was at Invest Fest in Atlanta. And
that was random.
That
was a random.
Very
thing.
random.
Yeah, I think God definitely sends people into your life for sure at the right time. It's just you have to be willing to accept it, no doubt. So, what you got coming up next?
Just waiting on the T-bar, and again, like I said, the Bulletproof Entrepreneur Coaching that's going to premiere the second week of March. I definitely got to give. I don't even know the number right now, because I'm giving a free ebook out. And if it's a self-starter person, it has all the steps that you need to get started. If you know, sometimes people ease their way in. I'm a fast-paced person, like get me to the money. So I pay to get to the money quick. That's just how I am. But sometimes people, you know.
You definitely said that throughout the podcast about investing in yourself. But I mean, you're right, though. A lot of people take the long route. You know, they're not willing to invest in themselves, and they realize that they might spend an extra year or two. But what if you just paid to skip that year or two? You know, but the one thing I will say is that you got to watch who you pay.
Yeah.
Because you can pay somebody who ain't really gonna do nothing for you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, I mean, those are lessons too. So again, sometimes certain things don't work, and then sometimes you don't work it. So I've paid for stuff, and I realized I was the problem in it.
You didn't do what your part.
I didn't show up. So, you know, do you got accountability? And I want to actually scope people. Like, I don't even want to coach people that is going to get in a program that is not willing to be accountable about themselves. Are they going to show up? Are they going to put their faces on camera and ask the questions they need and all that type of stuff?
Right, because you don't want them to feel like you didn't do your part.
Yeah.
Like, did you do your part, man?
Yeah, so because it's all accountability and it's done with you. And I can't open up your bank account for you. I can tell you how to do it. And if you need me to hold your hand, then that might be an extra fee to come and hold your hand and walk you to the bank. But I can give you all the steps. I can, you know, hold you accountable each week. And, you know, so I'm scoping for people that want that type of mentorship, not a person that's like, oh, I signed up for something and I'm thinking they're going to do everything. Like, it's only, matter of fact, AI and all this artificial intelligence is stopping us. It's sending messages to our phone, is, you know, wanting to see face recognition, all that stuff. So you always going to be a part of it, no matter how much you want someone to completely do it for you.
You always have to do your part, for sure.
Yeah.
It's going to get easier, but you still have to do your part.
Yeah.
So before we get out of here, go ahead and tell them where they can follow you at, where they can find you at, and where they can sign up for the mentorship.
Absolutely. So my IG is MiLove 2004. And my business IG is City Span Solutions. You can follow me on IG or Facebook, My Hall. And I have a YouTube called The Bulletproof Entrepreneur. And I have my partner named T. Anthony Money. You can follow us at Bulletproof Entrepreneur. You will see things coming really soon. We got a mentorship program and we got an ebook. If you text the word bullet, I'm going to send him over the number. It's going to pop up on the screen. Text the word bullet and we will send you the free ebook, but it's only free for a limited time. So make sure you text the word bullet to the number that I provide.
For sure. Well, I definitely appreciate you coming. I feel like, just keep going. Just keep going. You're going to get there. I feel like you're already there. You just got to keep going. You're going to reach those goals for sure. And definitely seek, just my advice, try counseling.
Absolutely. We got to do this again.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. It was a great conversation.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was nice to meet you.
Thank you for having me and nice to meet you too.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you on the next episode.
It's time to let it flow. Let it.